Hey guys, thanks for joining this call. I mean, this was totally obviously a non-formal thing I wanted to do to just talk about Elite. As you know, I was rounding out 2014. It's my third year hitting Elite, and I thought, I know I was really confused when my first year. I wasn't really sure what Elite was, and so I just wanted to share with you guys. I'm going to mute everybody because I can hear little babies. Or maybe just mute yourself so you don't have to mute everybody. Okay. So I also have Jen O'Keefe on the line, and she is now a 2-year Elite, so she's going to answer questions as well. But I thought I'd start out just by sharing with you my timeline so you understand, how I got from new coach to Elite coach. And I signed on in 2011 at May 29th. So in 2011, I was a coach for about 6 months. And in that first 6 months, I hit Success Club every month, and I earned the trip to Atlantis, Bahamas. And I'm telling you guys that just because I think it's important for us to share with our new coaches that none of the recognition programs are beyond a new coach. There's no timeline that says you can't be successful until you've been a coach for X months. And I think that a big part of people being successful right out of the gate is someone telling them they can, because I know for me, I know my first month as a coach, I didn't think any of that applied to me. I mean, there was a Teen Cup challenge, and I remember my sponsors, Kelly Nyforth, she said, you need to be in the challenge. And I'm like, really? I don't know even what Success Club is. So that's just an FYI. So I ended 2011 as an Emerald coach. And I did about 3 different 90 Days to Diamond programs. And I didn't hit 90 Days to Diamond. I did 180 Days to Diamond, and I don't think I hit whatever 240 Days to Diamond. So 2012 comes about. I started out as an Emerald coach. I hit Diamond, I believe, like February 1st. So in 2012, my first full year as a coach, I ended the year as an Elite coach and a 2-star Diamond. And at the time, 2-star Diamond was the requirement to hit Elite. Now, every year they raise the requirement. So, but I have to say that I believe that your best chances for hitting Elite are your first year or so as a coach because of that ATV issue, which we'll talk about the points and how you hit Elite. But I know, top coaches like a Hillary Kelly, I mean, there's 3 categories for hitting Elite. There's 3-point categories, and they all have a maximum. So you can't just ride the coattails of one particular category. You've got to succeed in each of those 3 categories. And so the 3rd category is ATV, which is accumulated team volume. You have to surpass your previous year's volume. So think about it. As a new coach, like for me, my first year, I was a coach for 6 months in 2011. So my ATV baseline for 2012, was only 6 months of a year. So, I could start achieving that ATV point sooner. Whereas, experienced coaches that have been coaches for years and years and years. I mean, I think Hillary's talked about, when her ATV volume kicks in, and it's not till like the 4th quarter. I mean, so that's just an FYI. And so, again, I think that we need to teach our new coaches that you should be striving for these things, categories, Elite and Premier, right out of the gate. I mean, this is a new year. All those coaches we brought on in 2014, we should be talking to them right now about how do you set your sights on Elite for this year. And I also know when my first year as Elite, there was no Premier. So now we have the Premier category, and I was trying to find the requirements for Premier right before I got on this call, but I couldn't find them real quickly. But I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, 2-star and points. Does anybody know off the top of their head how many points? Oh, Jen, you're muted.
I thought it was the same.
Same, okay, like 135?
Yeah.
Okay, so, 2-star, so really to hit Premier is like what we had to do to hit Elite my first year that I hit Elite. So my first year as Elite, I think there were about 86 Elite coaches. My second year, I think there was 136-ish or something like that. And I know in 2015, they've changed the requirements so that the top 200 get the additional $500 bonus. So obviously they're expecting more and more people to hit elite. So let's talk a little bit about benefits of elite. I mentioned that $500 bonus. I mean, in my opinion, when you hit elite, you're getting a $6,000 a year raise. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? And elite is considered a Success Club recognition program because Success Club's a part of it. You get points for your personally sponsored coaches hitting Success Club, and then you also get additional points for you hitting Success Club. And to get that $500 bonus every month, like for this year, then I have to hit Success Club every single month. I mean, and why, of course we hit Success Club anyway. I'm a Success Club 10 legend, which means I think I'm like at 36 months of Success Club 10, something like that. But it's obviously something I'm going to do anyway, so I just consider it a gimme. I'm like, give me $6,000, okay, I'll take it. So that's when we talk a lot in Beachbody about rank and income and what are we building this business for, and that rank is not necessarily income. And I think that some of us that are in different spots in the organization, like I don't get team volume from the upline. So, and I know Jen's the same way. So we've had to completely build our business on our business, and so but that's okay. I mean, lots of there's top 10 coaches that have the same situation. But so for me, any additional income I can create or generate for myself is huge. Now there's some coaches that based upon their position or the way they're building their income, some of these things aren't maybe their focus. Maybe hitting elite, maybe they have more income potential doing something else. And I know that's kind of hard to imagine, but it's, it's true. So I know for me, hitting elite is very important because I want that additional income. So let's talk about, so there's the benefits, not to mention just all the spoiling that you get. I mean, you get first dibs on registering for the Success Club trips. You get first dibs on getting registered for leadership conference. And then when you're on those trips, you get all kinds of spoilage and just really cool stuff. I mean, goodie bags at the wazoo. I know, Jen, your first year as elite last year, you were just like this little kid in a candy store. Every time you're like, oh my gosh, more presents, more stuff. So I'm telling you, once you hit elite, you really don't ever want to not be elite. And so that's just kind of what I want to say about that. Do you want to say anything, Jen?
I think it sends, I should say, a message to your team that it's really the place to be. So I feel like, the pack follows the leader. So when I made elite, I feel like, it was great for me, but I think it was even more exciting for me to show my team that, this is cool. I can go through the line at Summit and go right into the store and, everybody else has to wait. And it's not a yay me type of thing. It's more about, showing my team that these are the perks and this is what you can get also. Being able to sit down on the floor at Summit is like a really big deal. And, you're right up front and you're with the other top leaders of the business. And I think one of the biggest benefits that I've had from becoming elite is just being a part of the 5-star wall, being engaged with all the other leaders. And hello, Diamond Line, like that has been a godsend to me and my team, being able to call the Diamond Line when I have problems. And there's 3 representatives there. They speak English. They know who I am. They know my kids' names. And I can get my problems solved right away. And that has been, a big game changer for me with Elite. But yeah, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of benefits. It's obviously a raise. And once you tack on the bonus for being a 5-star diamond, that's $18,000 a year. It's not just 6. So, when I became elite, I told myself if I made 5-star and elite, I would quit my full-time nursing job. And that's what I did because I knew that it was pretty much supplementing, if not replacing, at least half my nursing salary. So right there, you're giving yourself a big boost. But yeah, the robe is really nice. It's monogrammed. It's got my initials on it.
Well, you don't get one of those every year, but yeah.
No, but all that stuff is great. And you can tell, what motivates you, obviously, and what motivates leaders in your team. I'm not too proud to admit that I'm all about the spotlight. You know, I want to be up on stage, waving my hand, and, you know, everybody's different. Some people are motivated by the gifts. Some people are motivated by the money part of it. Some people are motivated by just the title. You know, like me as a registered nurse, for me to get that elite title on the end of my name was kind of like when I graduated nursing school. I was like, yes, you know, this is like Gen RN. Well, now it's Gen E, you know, E to the 2 or whatever you want to say. So, you know, that was a big deal to me too, just to be able to have that, that status, to feel kind of like I had achieved something with the business.
Yeah. And I forgot, you know, really, the you know, the gifts are great, but like Jen said, being able to sit down on the floor at Summit is amazingly huge. Going to the front of the line, getting into the core first. And again, I remember my my first year. Let's see, I went to Summit my first year in 2012, and so I did go to Summit my first time as a diamond coach. And I remember, you know, sitting in the nosebleed sections and looking at all the goings-ons and thinking, you know, I'm going to be on that stage next year. I want to, when I come to Summit, I want to be on the stage. I don't want to be in the nosebleeds. And I was. And I was on the floor, you know, sitting there as an elite coach. I mean, so I truly believe a lot in visualization, and like you can see, I created, you know, I have my goal, my vision board, which, you know, you'll see when I do my screen share. But I want to say too that my first year hitting elite, you know, again, it was my first full year as a coach, and it was almost an accident. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about, you know, how can you be intentional about it? And I remember it was, you know, midway through the year, and I got this, I think, an email saying you are on track to hit elite. And I was like, huh? What? Say what? I mean, now they send out monthly reports to what, diamonds and above or something like that about your elite status. But at the time they didn't do that. And I just got this email. I was like, holy smokes. And then I got on a call with you know, somebody from corporate led a call on how, you know, what does this mean and how do you hit elite? And they started going through what it meant. And I know at the time I didn't get it. I didn't get points. I didn't understand it. I could read them, you know, but I was like, it doesn't comprehend to me. And so, you know, now that I've done it, you know, for 3 years, I understand enough. I can read it and I can like, okay, totally got it, get it. But I know, again, for some of you, it may still be kind of almost Greek. Like, I don't really get how to do this and how to be intentional about it. So let's talk about that. The last thing I wanted to say was hitting elite is so not about you. And when you see people recognize themselves for being elite, you always see them recognize their team. They say we, because there is nothing about you that is an elite. I mean, there is an I in elite, but you know what I'm saying? Because the points are predicated upon your team being successful. It's predicated upon your personally sponsored coaches hitting Success Club. It's predicated upon your personally sponsored coaches creating PV. And it's predicated upon your team creating volume. The only part that you really add to the mix is you hitting Success Club every month so that you get additional points. I mean, so hitting elite is about your team. And so number one, you have to think about, okay, there's the points and then there's the diamond. So premier 2-star diamond, elite 5-star diamond. So do you have people on your team right now that, I mean, maybe you're 2-star, maybe you're 5-star already, and maybe you fell short on the points. Or maybe last year you hit the points, but you didn't have the diamonds. I mean, it can happen either way. So you need to think about, you know, where, you know, maybe you need to work on both of those, or maybe, you know, you need to work on one or the other. But you need to think about right now, do you have anybody on your team? Do you have people that are hitting Success Club? Do you have coaches hitting Success Club? Do you have coaches that are creating volume? Do you have volume on your team? And do you have coaches that are diamond or are positioned to be diamond in this year? And so that kind of gives you the idea of what you need to go do. Who do you need to talk to? Who do you have on your team that you need to be helping them set goals for this year? And then if you don't have people, if you don't have names for those spots, then that helps you understand your recruiting efforts. And, you know, my goal is to recruit 10 coaches a month. And as a diamond coach, I'm trying to think of what the rule of thumb that Arno gave me. I think he said 4 to 6 or something like that. Jen, what does your mentor tell you?
Mine is 6 to 8, but I usually get close to 10.
Yeah. And I will just, you guys know this, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to find your Prince Charming, right? I mean, so seriously, I mean, you just never know who's going to shine and people have surprised me on both ways. I mean, I have people that I've signed up that I thought were going to be rock stars and then I've had people that just surprised me, discount coaches that stepped up. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you need to go. Well, I thought that there's a little 8-minute video that corporate created. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you guys watched it? Did you all watch it? Yes? I thought one of the ways we could go through this is to watch that video together where it talks about the points, and then I was going to press pause and give you guys the chance to ask questions about each of those point categories. How do we intentionally work to grow those areas, and just any clarification you need. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to play that video. So let's do it. Let's do it.
By now, to be an elite coach at the end of 2015, you need to be 3 things, right? Be a 5-star diamond coach or higher on December 31st. Have at least 2 personally sponsored coaches be diamond or above for the first time in 2015, also on the 31st. And then earn a total of 135 elite points. Helping you plan how to earn these.
I want to stop right now. So pay attention. 2 personally sponsored coaches from 2015. So again, this is not, are you already a 2-star diamond and you're good to go, or a 5-star diamond? You have to create 2 new personally sponsored diamonds in this year, right? Everybody got that? Okay.
135 elite points is why we've created this goal guide. And as you can see from the goal guide, you really earn elite points in 3 categories. The first category is elite points from Success Club qualification, or elite SC points for short. You can earn a maximum of 61 elite points from this category, and a good elite strategy is to get all 61 elite points by the end of 2015. You'll earn 1 elite point each time one of your 2014 or 2015 personally sponsored coaches qualifies for Success Club 5 or above. Now, let's use the goal guide then to see how this works, how we can plan this out. So say you have a total of 8 personally sponsored coaches from 2014 and 2015. And at the end of January, 4 of them have qualified for Success Club 5 or above. You then earn 4 elite Success Club points or SC points for that month. But that's not all. If you also qualify for Success Club 5 or above in January as well, those points would then be doubled, giving you a total of 8 elite SC points for the month. So as you work the goal guide, start by identifying your personally sponsored coaches from 2014 and the number you'll enroll each month in 2015. Then estimate how many of these coaches you'll need to hit Success Club 5 or above each month to get you all 61 of those elite SC points. The second category.
Okay. So any questions on that? 2014, 2015. So you best know who your 2014 coaches are, right? And you know which of those coaches make Success Club. And as you fill out your goal guide, you're going to look at, who already makes Success Club, who's pretty regular about it, and again, maybe you don't have people that are making Success Club. So how can you help them, create, Jen, what do you do as far as, helping your people? Because I know we've talked about incentives. We've talked about, corporate gives you so many incentives. There's like a Success Club incentive every single month. So yeah. I kind of have the perspective that people that are going to make it are going to make it. They're either, it's like motivation. You either have it or you don't. And as much as we want to just like pull it out of ourselves and throw it into somebody else, it's got to come from them. So then do you have a strategy for helping people make Success Club?
My goal every month this year was 5. I wanted to help 5. Kim Carver's actually my rep. He's our rep for the East Coast. He's amazing, the guy that's doing the video now. And before that, I worked with Nate Farnsworth before he left. And my goal was 5 every month. But don't discount your people that are just getting 1 or 2 points. So I did a check every every week, really. When I do my top volume, I also recognize Success Club points for the team. And I would look at the people that are getting 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a lot of coaches that end each month with 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I would pinpoint those people and write them down every week or every month, however often you want to do it, and really work closely with them to find out, okay, well, are they signing coaches or are they getting these points from challenge packs? And if they're really good at recruiting, maybe, but not so great at conversion, at getting people to go from customer to coach, then, you just kind of help them with their weak points, but really pinpoint what they're good at and build on that. And, I try to reach out to those people, even in my downline that aren't necessarily personally sponsored by me, even though I know that they're not benefiting my elite, to help them, because I've noticed a lot of the times that the leader will be inspired if their downline is doing things. I have had a lot of my leaders get re-engaged because their new coaches are doing things. So if I say, hey, your coach Tracy is really kicking butt, she's getting Success Club, she's doing this, she's doing that. Did you know that if you're getting Success Club too, you're going to benefit from that with elite points, you're going to benefit that, from money, whatever it is, to try and engage. I try to use their downline to engage my personally sponsored coaches. We do a lot of incentives. I've given away $100 Amazon gift cards. I've given away wear and share. People go crazy for wear and share. But like you said, Deb, corporate already gives us so much for Success Club. I think one of the most important things, especially with Premier and Elite, is helping your newer coaches see the big picture and really grasping that first couple months getting Success Club is so important. So if you can immediately have them see the benefit in signing up their spouse, signing up their mom, getting Success Club 5 those first 3 months so they can get their ticket to Summit, then that's really going to create a culture of winning on your team and success where the newer coaches are kicking butt, and it kind of engages the maybe coaches who have been doing it for 6 months to 3 years that aren't really doing that much. But working, like Deb said, working with your newer coaches is what's going to benefit you for Premier and Elite. And you can run a report very easily in your Coach Online office for your 2014 and 2015 coaches.
Yeah, I think what Jen said is right. I think with the Success Starters program, really helping your new coaches understand they can be making that right out of the gate. And I think that program really helps new coaches understand this is for them. So that it's not like, when I signed up as a coach, I didn't really think Success Club was for me because I'm not successful yet. And so that's a club and I haven't earned my membership yet. So I think the Success Starters program, that's really where you need to focus, is getting your new coaches really excited about that. And making an expectation. I've seen so many top coaches talk about, you've got to set the expectation. Not that, I think that sometimes, we set the, Success Club is this big, huge deal, and Emerald and even Diamond is like this big thing. And I think we need to almost like take these things off a pedestal a little bit so that, yes, it's amazing when you hit these things, but really it's so doable. It's just, you should, it's just something you're going to do, right? It's no big deal. You're going to do it. I think recognizing is good. So hopefully you all are doing monthly or weekly team recognitions. I do just like Jen, I recognize everybody that gets any Success Club points. And then I give special love and attention to people that make Success Club. I post it on our wall, on our team wall, as well as on their public wall. But yeah, I've done incentives, and it seems like the people that always earned my incentives were the ones that would make Success Club anyway. It's like, so, okay, yay. But you definitely want to have that list of who your 2014 coaches are. I have a whiteboard. I can keep it like that. However you like to do it, but make sure you know who they are, because like Jen said, you want to work with everybody, but seriously, when you're looking at those people that have the 1 point or the 2 points or the 3 points or the 4 points, giving them an extra call, giving them an extra text message, hey, what can I do to help you get that extra point? That reaching out is how you can be more intentional about hitting these goals. All right, let's go to the next category.
Is elite points from personal volume, or elite PV points for short. Again, here you can earn a maximum of 61 elite points from this category. So a good elite strategy should include a way to get all 61 elite PV points as well by the end of 2015. Notice that while your elite SC points, the thing we just talked about, are generated by all your 2014 and 2015 personally sponsored coaches, when we talk about elite PV points, those only
Oh God.
coaches. So it's important to keep track of both groups. To calculate then your elite PV, we look at the combined PV totals of all of your 2015 personally sponsored coaches, and for each increment of 500 PV from this group, you'll earn 1 elite point. So again, let's go to the goal guide to see how we can use it to map out and get all these 61 elite PV points. You're going to start by setting a goal for the number of new 2015 coaches each month, and then you want to estimate what the approximate combined total PV from all of your 2015 coaches is going to be. You'll then get your elite PV points for the month by counting 1 point for every 500 in PV in that bottom box right there. For example, let's say that in January, you think you'll have 3 new coaches from 2015, and you're going to estimate they're going to generate a combined total of about 500 PV. That means you would earn 1 elite point in that category. Taking this a step further, let's say that you anticipate having 3 more new coaches join the next month, and that you think that all 6 of those 2015 coaches combined, right, the ones from January and the ones from February, will then create a total combined PV of 1,000 points. Now, again, you can see this will give you 2 more elite points in February. So with this goal guide, you can now estimate the number of new 2015 coach ads you'll need to have in a given month, and the approximate PV you'll need to have in order for you to hit your target elite PV point total. And
That one's a little more scary, isn't it?
Did you hear me scream and fall over?
It was that way last year, though, Jen. It's always been the current year's coaches.
I think that's like the hardest part, and that just makes it even more clear. Help your new coaches, help your new coaches, help your new coaches.
So here's kind of a rule of thumb. When you sign a new coach, I estimate about 100 PV. Because they're getting a challenge pack, or maybe, an HD is 90, so just round it to 100. So let's go with my goal of signing 10 coaches a month. If I'm signing 10 new coaches a month at 100 PV per coach, that's about 1,000 PV for the month. So that gives me 2 elite points. Now, ideally, we want all of those coaches to stay on their HD, right? So then the next month, that would give me approximately 1,000 more from those coaches, plus the 10 new coaches I'm signing. So that would give me 2,000, which would give me 4 points. Are you guys tracking with me? I'm not good with math on the top of my head, so if I got that wrong, let me know. But that's kind of how, when you're being intentional about how can I plan this out, about 100 points for a new coach. Now, he said 500 for 3. Now, that would be assuming that I think that, your coach starts selling right away, starts creating their own PV, which obviously, again, if you're going back to let's get them in the Success Starters program, we want our new coaches to not just be bringing on their own, personal use PV, but also creating PV from their customers. So again, this is how do you teach your team how to share, how to, add challengers to their groups, how to get people matched up with challenge packs. That's a big part of what we have to do as leaders, is teach our team how to not only be a product of the product themselves, but how to share and get other people engaged as well. So I know as a leader, I spend a lot of time with my team, making sure they understand the challenge pack specials, posting example Facebook posts, for the challenge groups that I'm running, and inviting them to be a part of the challenge groups that I'm running, so that as a new coach, they have some place to put. I mean, there's all kinds of strategies, and I know you guys are already doing that, but you just got to keep doing more of that. And again, now you've got your list of 2014 and 15 coaches for Success Club. Now you've got this little list of 2015 that you're going to be focusing on for PV. And the reason you have these lists is because you want to keep track of it yourself too. I mean, you're going to get a report every month that shows you, but you also want to know for yourself, okay, if you're kind of, I don't know, I won't say anal, but if you're really on top of your business, track it yourself so that you know. And then you can project out where you're going, right? Any other advice on that, Jen?
No, the PV part always scares me. It's funny because last year I was short on the Success Club. So no joke, like New Year's Eve, I'm on the phone with one of my coaches pushing for those last 2 points to get Success Club. So, and that was your whole theory about being a newer coach and having enough ATV and having enough PV to make it, but then the points were short. This year, I maxed out on Success Club points really early because my team already got it about Success Club. They were already getting Success Club regularly, but it was the PV, not that held me back, but that a couple months, before the end of the year, it was the PV that still had some room to grow. So yeah, it's definitely important. And I made the mistake of signing most of my coaches last year in my second business center. So I think with the new rules, their PV, what?
That counts.
It still counts? Okay. Well, it won't count towards rank because I only have maybe 4 coaches in my first business center that I signed up last year. I signed all of them up in my second because I was building my income because it's my second business center is under my husband's account and obviously it benefits mine too. So it's kind of like double dipping. So yeah, Hillary once told me a long time ago that your first business center is your bread and butter. So, even if you're able to open up a second business center once you get to 2-star, don't forget that your first business center is your bread and butter. And if rank is something that you're really working towards, like with Deb and I, where you don't benefit from up and that rank part is important to you, eggs in one basket and sign every. I will definitely have some fighting to do this year to kind of help my my coaches that I signed up in 2014 to get to that next level, and then really, really focus heavily on recruiting in 2015 to get new coaches in my first business center.
Yeah, this is where I think, what I talked about earlier about, rank versus income, and there's different decisions to be made, so I have definitely heard of coaches and known of coaches, top coaches that made the decision, to continue building a spouse's business center because that was, had more income potential for them than just focusing on elite for themselves. So, I don't know that I don't know. I don't know if you guys are at that decision point yourself yet, but it may be something that you have to consider. I mean, I can keep looking back at my whiteboard because, I have my husband's a diamond and, my second business center is a diamond, and my daughter is 18, wants to sign up as a coach. And I'm just like, oh my God, how many more of these can I manage? I've got to still, like Jen said, keep working on my first business center. So anyway, does anybody have any questions? Nobody's asking questions yet. Is this all just crystal clear?
Digesting.
Okay.
I have a question, or I guess a clarification.
Yeah.
So if you get a new coach in 2015 and you put them through the Success Starter program and, get them to Emerald within their first 30 days, then they're more than likely going to have their 500 PV, right?
Yeah, and PV, let me just clarify, PV accrues. It accrues. So, if you have, 100 PV or 200 PV in January and you get 300 in February, now you have 500 and you get your point.
Okay, so that new coach doesn't have to get that 500 PV in their first month?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah. So what I do is I take all of my 2015 coaches and I can put all of their PV. So somebody may have 45, somebody may have 150, somebody may have 300, somebody may have 90. You add it all up, divide it by 500, and that's how many points you get.
Okay.
That makes sense?
I was seeing it as each person has 500 PV.
No, it's the whole.
Okay. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yay. Good.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Let's watch the last piece. That's the hard part. ATV.
The reality is focusing on just the SC and the PV categories, especially early in the year, is a great way to attack the 2015 elite qualifications. Okay, there is one last category of elite points. Your elite points from your advanced team volume, or ATV elite points for short. These points are earned from the total accumulated PV growth in the first 3 lines of sponsorship on your team from one year to the next. At the end of 2015, we'll take your total ATV from that year and subtract your 2014 ATV total from it. And now for every increase of 10,000 points that you have, you'll earn 1 elite point. For example, in 2015, let's say you estimate that you're going to end the year with a total ATV of 200,000, and your total 2014 ATV was 40,000. You are then planning on an increase of 160,000, which will give you a total of 16 elite points. Again, the goal guide provides you a place where you can perform the simple calculation. So start with your ending 2014 ATV amount, which you'll have here just in the near future. And once you've estimated then what your SC and your PV elite points are, you'll know exactly how much ATV growth you're going to need in 2015 in order to have enough points to qualify. For example, we keep talking about maxing out your SC and your PV points. If that's your plan, you're going to have a total of 122 elite points. But remember, you need at least a total of 135 points for your elite title. So you can't achieve elite just by maxing out your SC and PV points. You need some ATV points as well. In fact, you'll need at least 13 points from the ATV category, meaning that in order for you to hit elite, your business will need to have increased by a total of at least 130,000 from 2014 to 2015 in the ATV measurement. So on your goal guide, make sure you plan on increasing your ATV by at least 130,000 in 2015. All right, well now it's your turn. Take the time to fill out your goal sheet and get your elite game plan in place. After you fill out this sheet, if you would, please get it back to me or to whoever your corporate contact is. And the reason for that is so that we...
Okay. Any questions on ATV? It's that mysterious number that's not nowhere in your back office, right, Jen? It's just...
I know. My goal was just to double mine. I mean, if you think about your business, you know, I'm like Deb. I'm not a numbers person on the fly at all. I'm a nurse. If dosages didn't come on packages, I'd probably kill somebody. I mean, that's just the truth. I'm not a numbers person at all. But my goal in my head was, okay, I want to double my income every year. I want to double my ATV. I want to double my volume. I want to double my team. I just had it in my head that I wanted to double everything. So, you know, if you double your ATV, then you're going to get a lot of ATV points. And that was just kind of my basis.
Yeah, I think that ATV for me is the hardest thing to intentionally go after. So definitely focus on maxing out in the first 2 categories. So if you think about Success Club, you have 3 coaches hit Success Club every month, and you hit Success Club every month. You're at 72. You've maxed out. 61 is your max. So you're maxed out there, right? 3 coaches plus you hitting Success Club every single month. And then you go to your PV, you know, it's the same thing. You know, figure out with that goal guide, you know, that's going to help you figure out, okay, what's your recruiting goal? You know, if you're recruiting, let's say, if you're recruiting 5 coaches a month, you know, is that going to get you where you need to be if we're with that 100, you know, PV for each coach? I mean, so figure out what you need to be doing. This is reverse engineering your goal. You know, I want to be elite. Okay, great. All right, now how do we do it? And then the ATV, I mean, I was going to show one more time, see if I can find it quickly. So I have a folder. I keep my elite reports in, and we can look at my last one. I mean, you guys have seen it. Is this mine? Yeah. So, you know, doesn't it give us, yeah. So here was my ATV in 2013, 481,000. And then 2014 year to date through December 16th, it was 805. So, I mean, that's kind of what Jen just said, double it. Now, when I'm looking at this, I mean, this is where I said it gets really, I think, harder. I mean, every year to hit this, I mean, think about Janelle Summers. I mean, when you hear her, when they talk at someone about how many elite points she has, it just blows my mind how her ATV just, I mean, doubles every single year. But I mean, even for this, I mean, to get your extra, your 13 points that you need, I mean, 130,000 points. 130,000 ATV. I mean, look, that should be something that, I mean, for me, should be achievable, right, Jen?
Yeah, mine went from 271,000 to 556. So
wow, yeah. So is everybody getting this report? Okay, so you're going to have your ATV number, so you know what it should be.
Deb, can I ask you a question real quick? I know that in the new year, we only get them once a month, and then towards the end, they send them every week. I just realized today was Friday, and I didn't get one. So are we not going to get an end of the year one, or should I just look at the last one that I got?
You're getting an end of the year one, but they have what they call the, I can't remember what they call it, the sleeper period. While they're figuring out the top 10, they're keeping everything, they keep it all blind and quiet until they announce the official top 10 and all that. So we'll all get a final report.
And then we just get them once a month then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions? Anything clear now? No questions. Okay.
Hey, Deb, I actually do have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have some tips actually on running reports, basically? Because I feel like reporting is one of the most time-consuming things for me. I know it's critical, but I'm always like, I gotta customize this report and pull these numbers, and I feel like I'm pulling 10 reports every week, and it just seems excessive. So do you have any tips in terms of running your own report so that you can do your recognition, and then also, of course, reach out to your team members who are really kicking ass, and excuse my language.
Yeah, that's it. No, I usually go into personally sponsored. So my business sponsors, the personally sponsored, and I mean, it's not a rocket science, but you can do run it by date so that, seriously, I just look at all my personally sponsored. It's got all of their volume out for X many, the 5 weeks. And I just will add that up. I mean, it is not a rocket science, Erin. I mean, I don't know, Jen, do you have a report running methodology?
I run, right now, because it's the end of the year, I would definitely go in and run a 2014 personally sponsored from the beginning of last year to the end of last year, just so you have in front of you who those people were. Okay. What I do is, because like I said, I recognize every week top volume and Success Club points just for my personally sponsored. What I'll do is when I recognize that, I will keep track in a binder of who is constantly hitting it. And what I do is, and it sounds kind of funny, but every single time they hit it, I just put a little check mark next to their name. So I can easily look at that list and say, okay, who is consistently top volume? And I recognize top volume for anybody that has 200 and above. I don't have too many on my team that get 500 or above, but I figure if you're above 200, then it's not just your own Shakeology. Right. So 200 and above, I recognize on my board. If it's more than 15 people, I'll cut it off at some point, top 15, something like that. But I'll just tally. I'm a paper and pen kind of girl, so I'll just tally next to them. The other report that I run is for Success Club points. I love now how you can see the previous month, but I hate how you can't see the previous whole year.
I know.
So like Deb said, that forces you to track yourself. So I have that Melissa Morris binder, the $10 download that a lot of us have used before. Yeah. What I do is I just have January, February, March, April. I have every month written. And then what happens is when I have a team member that got Success Club 5 or above, I write their name next to the month so that I know who's getting it every month and what my elite points should be for that. I just basically write their names down.
What binder?
It's the Melissa Morris binder. She has that page 2 Insanity and back. She sells a coach binder. It's like a download that you can print out for $10. I used that for a really long time before I switched over to Evernote on my phone. But I have everything on my Evernote now, and it's killing me that I can't write anything.
Yeah. So going back to that
it's
personally,
organized.
going back to that personally sponsored, I mean, you can run that and then you can sort it by join date.
Yeah.
And so that's
Okay,
what I
yeah,
do.
I think
I
that's
sort it by join date, and then I basically I just go down to, okay, 2014 or 2015, whatever it is. And you can export that out to an Excel, but seriously, I get out my calculator and I just do this and add up
Okay, yeah, see, that's
that
sort of,
PV.
I was like, yeah, I was kind of like downloading, like, I just felt like I was downloading tons of reports and like trying to keep them organized and saved in folders. And I was like, this is just getting too much. I'm like losing my mind. Because once you get into like August, September, October, November, you've got all these reports, that I've been exporting. So if it's something that makes sense to just kind of like hand calculate month to month or week to week, however, it makes the most sense, that's a great tip for me, just because I felt like I just had way too many documents I was trying to organize and calculate from. So that's actually probably the best tip you guys have given.
What I try to do is I try to look at it for a month. So because that's how the elite report is calculated, and it's calculated on a actual calendar month. So like for PV, we see our week endings, which if our week doesn't end at the end of a month, now there's a couple days. And those couple days will actually be in our elite report, but it's hard for the PV, the personally sponsored PV, to match up exactly with your elite report. But I try to do that, like calculate that for that month as best as I can, so that I know when I get my report, okay, because I like to estimate out what I'm going to get, because when I meet with Arnaud, my mentor, he'll ask me, what is your goal? And so I'll say, well, my goal is this many elite points for this month. And I get that goal based upon what I did last month, and I can see who my PV earners are and things like that. So, I just try to look at it a month at a time and just calculate it out. All right, ladies. Well, we've been on for almost an hour. I hope it was helpful. If you think of anything else, then just post it in our thread, and be sure, hopefully it's recorded okay, and you guys can share it with anybody that you want.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.